In this episode, we face off against artificial intelligence to see who can make a better landscape photograph of the legendary Maroon Bells. Will this powerful new software eventually replace actual photographers? The fight against the machines begins. Coming up next.
All right, so the question on everyone's mind is, will artificial intelligence destroy photography as we know it? There's no question the software is becoming more powerful every single day. But in order to better answer this question, we need to understand what we're up against. So let's take a closer look.
Before we initiate our little experiment, let's run through a quick hypothetical. Let's say you run a travel magazine and you are looking to print an editorial on Aspen, Colorado. A photograph of the Maroon Bells would fit nicely into your centerfold. Now, you could spend a few $1,000s and hire a professional to go and capture a custom image for you. Or you could spend a few $100s and license an image from a landscape photographer's website. Or you could spend $0, type a prompt into your computer, wait 13 seconds, and have AI spit out an entire series of images for you to choose from.
Now, when you look at things from a financial perspective, AI is impossible to rival. It costs virtually nothing to generate almost any image that you can think of, and it's easy to see how no photographer will ever get hired again. But when it comes to the actual artwork, how good is artificial intelligence? For that, we're gonna have to take a closer look.
I took the liberty of generating a few AI images of the Maroon Bells. Now, the Bells are one of the most photographed mountain ranges in the entire country. There are literally thousands of images on the internet, which gives AI lots of reference material to work with. This means that the software can actually produce a relatively accurate representation of this location. If I'm a magazine editor and I'm looking at these images as candidates for my next article, AI is starting to look pretty good right now, especially for $0 down. Now, at a glance, the AI photos come off a little campy. They have kind of a painterly feel, and they look more like illustrations you would expect to see on a postcard. When we look at these images up close, we can see what I would consider to be a very excellent rendition of this magical place. The mountains don't look 100% photorealistic, but that will only get better with time. We see beautiful details in the water. The mountains are reflected perfectly, and we can still see the bottom of the lake, as if there is a slight polarizing filter cutting through the shallows. I would actually go so far as to say that the rocks in the foreground look 100% realistic. And the sky is also very good. Landscape photographers wait their whole careers for skies this good. We suffer through lots of dreary days in hopes of catching a sunrise this nice. So there are a lot of factors to consider here. When we compare this to the real world, airline tickets are expensive and Aspen is a luxury town full of boutique hotels and $12 craft beers. But when it comes to the software, all that changes. Travel, 0. Equipment, 0. Effort, 0. Dollars, 0. Talent? Well, you get the idea. For the price, so far, AI is absolutely knocking this challenge out of the park.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for my favorite part, the real world. I live in beautiful Colorado and I have been to the Maroon Bells many times. I can personally attest that it is one of the most spectacular destinations in the world for landscape photography. There's a reason why thousands of people go there every year. It's just a spectacular shot. And any photographer should be proud to have it in his or her portfolio. So now, let's go take a look at some pictures from the real world.
Falling stars, paradise.
the great outdoors. Who are we kidding? Nothing could ever replace you. People wait their entire lives to visit the Maroon Bells in real life. But there are a few things we have to consider as we set out on our little adventure. The Bells present a difficult combination of circumstances. In order to get the shot, you need to have snow on the mountains, a nice healthy canopy of leaves, a beautiful sky, and a perfect reflection. If there's so much as a trace of wind, you can kiss your shot goodbye. Now, AI does not have to worry about any of these pesky things like physics or Mother Nature. But not to worry, because we landscape photographers are built for punishment. When we look at our real-world images, we discover a lot of nuance in the details. I shoot with a 50 megapixel Canon 5D SR, and I stitch multiple images together for huge amounts of resolution. This comes in handy for gallery prints and luxury homes. But if we're being honest, it's way more resolution than the average person needs. As of now, artificial intelligence does not have access to this level of detail because we typically don't have ultra-high resolution images posted on the internet for the software to reference. All the same, I'm not going to fault today's AI for being low res. The software is evolving very rapidly, which means that future generations of AI will be able to create infinite levels of resolution with no problem. To put that into perspective, for a mere $50,000, a Phase 1 medium format camera can capture a 150 megapixel image. In the next few years, AI will be able to achieve that same level of quality for mere pennies. That's certainly something to think about the next time you find yourself pining over that new camera that you want to buy. But I digress. When we look at our images side by side, they actually look quite comparable. Yes, pretty much every photographer out there could look at these two images and spot the fake. But most people out there are not photographers. And quite frankly, I don't think the average person could give two shits whether or not a picture is generated by AI. A savvy magazine editor knows that the average person just doesn't care where an image comes from. And this adds yet another point in favor of the computers. I think the real images are better. I am of course partial to reality, and I'm rooting for us photographers. However, if I'm an editor looking for pictures of the Maroon Bells, I'm probably just going to go with the cheapest option. When we analyze the equation from the perspective of cost and effort, AI wins hands down. I hate to hear these words coming out of my mouth, but that's just the new reality that we live in. We can win these little landscape photography fights with AI for now, but ultimately, when it comes to the bigger picture, nothing can stop us from losing the war.
So, where does this leave us? Is this the end of photography?
I would say this is the end of photography as we know it. Getting paid for photography will probably die, if it hasn't already. But photography itself will never die. No matter how good AI gets, people will always want to go out and experience the real world for themselves. This is especially true for photographers. We love the great outdoors, and no software will ever be able to take that away from us. And so I find myself coming back to this recurring theme every time the topic of AI comes up. As life continues to be cheapened by fake impersonations, real-world experience is becoming more and more valuable every day. I find solace in this idea, and I for one will cherish every footprint that I leave out there in the real world. So the days of making money on your photography may well be over, but you simply cannot put a price on that breath of fresh air that you can only get from Mother Nature.
All right, friends, as always, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you had fun on our little AI challenge. Now, we'll definitely be doing a lot more of these in the future, so I would love to hear your thoughts on artificial intelligence. Be sure to leave those in the comments below. Also, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. There's a lot of cool new stuff coming up, and I don't want you to miss out. All right, that's going to do it for now. We'll see you in the next lesson.
If Aspen, Colorado happens to be on your landscape photography bucket list, be sure to check out our next episode. I teach you everything you need to photograph the legendary Maroon Bells.